Here we go. Welcome back, comrades. This is Gaming with Austin. And today, we're on episode 28 of Season 2 of the Utopian Community series. What we are going to do is we're going to add more windows and fix off the mistake I've made. Let's talk about my plans for March. Like, 28 days, 28 plus 31, 59, March 1st, episode 60, 2nd of March, 61, 3rd of March, 62, 4th, 63, 5th. Like, I wouldn't be in Colombia on the 68th episode of the Utopian Community series. In fact, I'll be visiting Florida. 68th episode would be all the way to the 76th episode of the Utopian Community series. I know this is a long way away for the series, but this is just, we're still in the beginning of Season 2. Let's think about what I would do after college. After college, I might just think about leaving the country until America gets better. Because America is failing. Cheese Puff is making it worse. No one should be proud of his actions. At all. After I finish 2 years of college, I might just think about moving to Canada or Iceland, or Scandinavia. Instead of buying a house, I'd rather build one myself that is simplified. For the showering, I'd only go out to take a shower whenever it rains. Or maybe get a bucket, so I could have enough water. Like, I'd find a lake. I'd find a lake, gather water, bring it to my hut, boil it, then drink it. Boil it, then filter it out. Filter out the bad stuff. Then drink it. Like, the hut wouldn't be made entirely out of wood. Because there'd be some metal in the hut, too. how I build a hut, I do it in frames. Now, I wouldn't make the roof out of straw because it's not enough. The electrical grid on your house really doesn't need to be that complex. But it tends to be that way. The reason to live in a hut, close to everything, like, one thing I'd do is I'd buy a plot of land, build a hut on that land, not teach people how to build huts. Like, the hut would have it'd have a minimalistic design. It'd be built based on your needs. It'd be built based on your needs. Like, if you have 2 to 3 kids, if you have 2 kids, go for a hut that has enough for 3 people. Like, that can hold 3 beds per hut. One of the tools I'd use to build my hut, I'd use a hammer. Now I'd spray the wood with a material that makes it almost indestructible. Like, I'd teach people how to build. That hut would be useful. Like, on top of the hut would be a metal slab. Because I like a modular design. Yes, the hut would be like the height from the floor to the ceiling of the hut. It'd be kind of tall, actually. Like, almost 8 feet tall. The reason to start building simple huts that can house families. The beds can become futons, too. We would live in a hybrid between agricultural and hunter-gatherer society. I'd put an anchor on the house with a bunch of pontoons in case of a flood. In case of a flood. How long will it be? The chain would be about 12 feet, 20 feet long. Basically, the resources would be communally owned. It'd be a commune. Basically, it'd be industrial primitivism, where people live a primitive yet industrial lifestyle. Like, it wouldn't be Stone Age type primitivism. It wouldn't be... It'd be industrial primitivism. Like, we would grow wild berries on our streets. So we could have a food source for everybody. The reason for the hybrid lifestyle. I'd do it to make it better. The problem with bows and arrows... Guns can scare the prey. Bows and arrows are not very accurate at all. What we need to do is go for something silent but deadly. With the method of pest control, we'd be using cats. There'd be plenty of food for everybody, based on your true needs, based on your physiological need for food. Like, in my physiology, I don't need that much food. I don't need a lot of food to survive. You're lucky I'm a young adult instead of a child, because if I was a child that ate 1,000 calories a day, I would have been dead. Because children are still growing, which means they need a lot more nutrients. They have a greater need for nutrients compared to adults. Which probably explains why they eat so much sugar. Maybe take that back. The hunter part of the hunter-gatherer, we'd be gathering wild berries. We'd also be scavenging. Like, instead of hunting, we'd be scavenging. We'd be scavenging. Finding carcasses for us to eat. I know this might make us very sick. The huts would be small enough to store your most of your basic needs. And some of your wants. Like, we'd go towards using renewable resources. And a vegan diet. The toilets they wouldn't just be used as toilets. It'd also be used as a composting bin. So we could compost our poop. Yes, people actually compost their feces. They compost their scat. Or dung, or manure. Whatever you like to call it. I know this sounds pretty disgusting. Don't worry, there'd be a ventilation system. So it doesn't smell awful. The type of trading that would be common would be a bartering system and a gift economy. And with the means of production, they'd be under common ownership and democratically controlled. The model of government in the commune would be a direct democracy. He has school in the background, by the way. Once all of this gets done, I'd start building the rooftop. And after that, I'd build from the inside. I'd be building from the inside. Of the farm. I know this is going to be a while before I start building the inside of the farm. Basically be anarchy. Like, we would have a rehabilitative prison system, in which we don't use prison to punish convicts, we use it to rehabilitate them. Rehabilitation is more effective. You know, punishing convicts doesn't always work. In fact, the punishment for the crime can actually backfire. The courts should not give the convict the death penalty. At all. In fact, the execution should be up to the convict. Not the judge nor the jury. But it should be up to the convict. It should be up to the convict. It shouldn't be up to the judge or the jury. Because in our current prison system, you don't get to pick whether you get sentenced to life imprisonment or the death sentence. This is a problem we have in our prison system. I tend to have my political views tend to be more of libertarian communist. It's not full-on anarchist, but it's borderline. The truth about why we do not need a hierarchy is that when we lived in villages in the Stone Age, we shared resources There was no hierarchy. That we should go towards self-sustainability without any scarcity. Like, go towards a post-scarcity society. And as we fight to end the scarcity, eventually, we'd be more free as a result of the higher abundance of resources. One of the crops we'll grow would be beans. All sorts of beans. Another crop we would grow, soybeans too. We'll even grow fruits and nuts as well, along with wheat, corn, and rice. The problem with pure competition in our society is that if we get too competitive, prices of everything will go up very quickly. The value of the dollar would drop very quickly. What we need is a union between companies. An intercorporate union. Where it's basically an alliance. Just like we have trade unions for the for the proletarians. Because we all deserve equality. My stance on corporal punishment in all settings is that it should be abolished. Not just that, the death penalty should also be you shouldn't force it on the convict. It should be up to the convict whether or not he wants to get executed or not. It shouldn't be up to the judges nor the jury. The maximum possible life sentence the court can give out, should be a life sentence. And how the death penalty would work if it's up to the convict whether if the convict wants to get executed or not. They'd give if the convict wants to get executed, the warden, like, would have to talk to the judges about the convict's decision. And if the judge says yes to that, they'd bring the convict the materials needed. Like, the convict would carry out his own execution. Some people want to bring the death penalty to children who disobey their parents, which is really horrible. This is just horrible. If you force the death penalty on a convict, that's murder. But the convict wants to get executed, it's more of consensual homicide, which is different. Yet there are problems with that. Even though I'm not adherent to any religion at all, some religions would criticize that decision. Would be better off if we abolish the death penalty altogether. Anyways, this is it for this video. Don't forget to leave a like if you liked this video, dislike if you disliked it, subscribe for more, share this with your friends on social media. As always, thank you for watching, and peace out.